Alright, in this video, we're going to talk about the solution of the last one, 3.6, analyzing the exponential function graph. So love it, all about a base. Exponential, so recall that this will become the x at my exponential power location, okay? But still, all about a base. So only two graphs. One is called the exponential growth, all about the base. So activate your eagle eye. The base had to be bigger than 1, okay? Or the other part will be the decay, going down, getting smaller, decay, all about the base. So your base will less than 1. So in class, we mentioned about it will be a fraction less than 1. Now, I hope you can see that by your eagle eye. Regardless, my base will be a positive number, okay? So growth will be base bigger than 1. Decay, that will be a base less than 1. But yes, indeed, they are positive. So blah, blah, blah. Growth, when you take a look at the picture from left to right, going up. Decay, look at the picture from left to right, I'm going down. Now, we mentioned about in class, things will go crazy, so we bring back the frame transformation. When we talk about number 13 to 16 problem, you know that the question asks more. So we mentioned about when there is a picture, the answer is in the picture. When you look at the function, can you tell me, is that a growth or decay? All about the base. So this is coming from my base. This is the base tells me if that is base bigger than 1, it will be a growth. If the base is less than 1, and yes, indeed, they had to be what? Positive. That will be a decay. So all about the base. Now, in the question, you also know that they ask for more. What else they want us to talk about? It is, can you tell me, is that a positive or negative direction about my graph, right? So this is what we mentioned about the leading coefficient A value. The leading coefficient A value. So we talk about that. If that is a positive, so the A will be positive, so you can conclude that it will be positive. If the leading coefficient is negative, so that will be a negative number, tells me the direction. So this is what we talk about in classroom. And then we mentioned about that. I also remember you talk about the C value. As you can see here, will be the very last number as my C value. This C value indicate it's my horizontal asymptote. The C value indicate my horizontal asymptote. And what do we know about this guy? This guy tells me y equal to what? AKA my horizontal asymptote, okay? The invisible line. Then you can say that, Miss Ong, you know what? When we talk about that, more information about that, I know from the leading coefficient A, if A is positive, that tells me my graph will above. So the positive match the above the horizontal asymptote. And yes, indeed, if that is leading coefficient, it's negative, that tells me that will be below the horizontal asymptote. So now you can say that, yes, I do not need a calculator. And let's go. So yesterday we talked about that. I just want to verify that, all about the base, okay? In classroom, when we talk about number 13, the way I do things, it is all about the base. So when I give an exponential function, I activate my eagle eye. The base, as you can see, it is a less than 1 number, so I know that it will be a decay. Very good. Then I'm moving on to my A value. Now activate your eagle eye. The number very front, it's my leading coefficient. The A, it's -1. This tells me it's negative. Do not overthink, okay? And the negative also tells me it will be below my horizontal asymptote. So now you can say that, then what will be my next one? Well. Think about where do you see my horizontal asymptote? -4. So when you take a look at the picture, you know that the invisible line, horizontal asymptote invisible line will be at -4. It's y equal to -4. Now, here we go. You may say that, Ms. Ong, look at the beginning. If you tell me the picture, it's a decay. My picture had to go all the way from left to right going down, right? But why the answer key is not? Well, remember, we also talk about the parents transformation, and because you see the A leading coefficient is outside inside, remember that? That tells me my picture is going to flip upside down over the horizontal asymptote. So here we go. Let's continue. Take notes. The leading coefficient, oh my gosh, the A value, okay? So it also controls that if A controls that, it tells us I'm going to do something called flipping. That will be my picture will be upside down over the horizontal asymptote. So this tells us, because the decay, I know that my original picture should be like this, from left to right, from left to right, going down, right? But because the leading coefficient is negative, so that tells me my picture is going to flip upside down over the horizontal asymptote. So in this moment, my picture should be like this, right? But because the leading coefficient is -A, so that tells me I'm going to flip my picture over the horizontal asymptote. So therefore, that becomes my final answer. Flip that upside down. So that's good now. So this will be something we call the location. Now, if you see that, so when there is a picture, the answer is in the picture, you are right. So looking at this picture, you know that the answer of my graph in this moment is increasing. From left to right, my final picture, it is going up. So that will be increasing. Now, about the M behavior, that was a very good discussion during classroom 2. It's talking about to the left, to the right. So do not overthink. To the left, when you take a look at your picture, to the left, what do you see your picture behave? You will know that it will be more and more negative. Okay, then what happened when you take a look at the picture to the right? So do not overthink. When you take a look at your picture to the right side, you know that the picture is getting closer and closer to -4. And that's what we mentioned about. When there is a picture, the answer is in the picture. All right, practice makes better. Let's continue. All right, 14. In classroom, we have a good discussion, right? Say, Ms. Oh, all about a base. My base is 2/3. No. Now, you may say that I see something, the power is negative. Very good. So remember what we call about the exponential property. Remember, when we say 2 to the -1, can you rewrite that? When you see the -1, it flipped to a fraction, so they become 1/2, aka when I have 2/3 to a -1 power, I can rewrite that as flipping. So therefore, that become what? 3/2. So what will be the cool thing about the exponential? It is I need to recognize the negative power just tells me I'm going to flip it upside down. So we say step 1, I am going to rewrite the equation. So my function g of x, because the negative power tells me I'm going to flip it upside down. So 3/2 to the x power, then plus 3. Aha. And now you can say that all about the base. My base is 3/2. And yes, indeed, it will be a growth because it's bigger than 1. And now you can say that, okay, all the same, what will be my leading coefficient all the way from? You will see the positive 1. This just tells me it will be a positive direction. Okay, then now you can say that no need calculator. What do I know about my horizontal asymptote? That will be my C value. So this is tells me step 1, as you can see, my horizontal asymptote tells me that will be my y equal to 3. So this will be something cool about that. So let's go back to everything we know. Because we know the leading coefficient, it is positive, so I know my graph will be above the horizontal asymptote. So therefore, the growth tells me my picture is going up. Very good. And therefore, look at the picture. I know the final answer of my conclusion will be a increasing picture. Look at this nice picture. You know that. Can I tell you something about my M behavior? To the left, to the right. So what you see is what you got. To the left, what do you see in my picture? To the left, you see my picture. When x gets more and more negative, infinity, my graph is getting closer and closer to 3, my horizontal asymptote. Good. What about the M behavior to the right? So when you take a look my x value, as x value gets more and more positive, my y is keep going positive infinitely. And that's it. When there is a picture, the answer is in the picture. All right, moving on. Number 15. Now, this one is not a good one to train your awesome eagle eye. All about the base. Activate your eagle eye. What is my base? My base location, it is 3. So the base is 3, bigger than 1, so I know that my picture is a growth. Very good. Now back to the eagle eye. What would be my A value, the leading coefficient? Oh, it's a -1, -1. So that tells you, it will be negative. That tells me that will be below my horizontal asymptote. Very good. And also, this is also tells me because the negative, I know that I'm going to flip my picture upside down. So that's good. All right. So knowing that my horizontal asymptote, -2. So step 1, I'm going to go get my horizontal asymptote. That will be right here, y equal to -2. And now you can say that, so help me out one more time. Why the picture looks like that? You just tell me exponential function only have a 2 style, growth or decay. Now, this picture is not the same as my no. Well, one more time. The leading coefficient A controls that. So let's have a little bit confident here because you know the picture will be growth. So this tells me my original parent's function should be from left to right. It's going up. That means growth, right? But because the leading coefficient is negative, that tells me I'm going to flip my picture over the horizontal asymptote upside down. So when you flip that, that becomes this way. And therefore, you can see that my final picture, as you see, will be upside down over the horizontal asymptote. Good. And what you see is what you got. After you flip it, you know that my picture is decreasing from left to right. Now, the last one will be the M behavior. To the left, to the right. So what do you know about my picture to the left side when x are negative? What you see is what you got. That will be my picture. Y value gets closer and closer to -2. Good. And what happened to my right side, to the right, the M behavior? My picture on the right side, as you can see, it's more and more negative infinity. Good. All right, last one, awesome eagle eye. What you see, it's what you got. Now, always remember, oh my gosh, I see the negative power. So step 1, we're going to rewrite. The negative power just tells me I'm going to flip it. So 5 over 4, flip it, that becomes 4 over 5 to the power x. So all about the base. What's my base? The base will be 4 over 5. And what is it tells me? It's less than 1. So I know my picture will be a decay. Now, activate the eagle eye. What will be my leading coefficient? Activate your eagle eye. That will be a positive 1. So therefore, that will be positive. And positive tells me my picture will be above the horizontal asymptote. Now, you may say that, so what is my horizontal asymptote for this one? You do not see anything, so that will be a 0. So you do have your horizontal asymptote, which will be when y equal to 0, okay? You can use your eagle eye. So now, because it's a decay, so I know the picture will be going down, and then look at the picture. As you can see, that will be a decreasing. Now, let's talk about my M behavior to the left, to the right. What do you notice about my graph? To the left side, as x gets more and more negative infinity, my picture y, it gets more and more positive. Check. And what happened to my graph? To the right side, the M behavior, you know that when x gets more and more positive, my graph gets closer and closer to 0. And that's it. Love it, love it, love it. So one more time, the ABC, okay, that tells us the function transformation is still match the knowledge we learned. And yes, indeed, exponential function is all about the base. So neither growth or decay, but we're going to have fun. Can I flip the picture upside down? And yes, and that's it. And that's all for today. Thank you.